All right, last time, so we're learning what is the essence of Chassidut. What is the essence of Chassidut? So a person could think, what is this? It's a type of Judaism. It's a type of, a little group of Jews. They're called the Hasidim. And among that group, they're called Hasidim. First of all, how many people are Jews in the world? A small percentage of a hundredth of a percent or 200th of a percent are Jews. And how many of those Jews are religious? Also a small percentage. How many of those Jewish religious people are Hasidim? And also a percent. And how many of those people are Chabad? So this whole idea of the ideas of Chassidut Chabad is a very small percentage of the world, a very small percentage of the world. But on the other hand, you can say, what percentage of the world is God? Zero. Who believes in God as part of the world? Even the religious people. God, if you believe in him, he's something that's way far away from the world. That's what it seems. So this comes to teach us that what things seem to be is not what they really are. And you could take it as a simple example. Life. What is life? Life is in your. Where is your life? Where is it? It's in your head. It's in your heart. It's in your heart. Where is life found? Right? Life is found everywhere. A person can get cut on his toe and his blood comes out. He can die. A person can suffocate. So the life is in your lungs. Now maybe it's in your heart. Maybe it's in your brain. Maybe it's so there's certain pressure points where you hit, the person dies. And nobody saw life. You see life. You see the results of life. See the results of life. And there's some people that believe that there's no such thing as life, a soul. It's not an entity or something. It's just like the batteries that keep your brain going or something. So in other words, what appears to be is not necessarily what is. And that's what Chassidut comes to teach us. Chassidut comes to teach us that really the fact of the matter is that the Jews are tremendously, tremendously important. And that the Jews are the spirit, the life, the soul of the whole world. But the world, of course, is important. The Jews are here to enliven the whole entire world. But who's going to enliven the Jews? Who's going to make the Jews come back to life? So that's what Chassidut is for. Chassidut is for to make the Jewish people come back to life. It's the inner point of the Jewish essence, the inner point of God's essence, the inner point of reality, of truth. Truth. The whole world is founded on truth. There's the truth, right? People look for truth. People search for truth. And mathematics is mathematical truth. What works, right? Some people can say, I don't want to do what it says in mathematics. I want to do whatever I want. We'll see, right? And what do you built a rocket ship according to your principles and the thing crashed. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to crash. I like action. Right? The same thing, people go according to their own principles. And you see that there's destruction in the world, and there's murder, and there's the depression and aggression, and all these desires and lust and things like that. People say, "Okay, that's what I wanted, and that's the way the world's supposed to be. That's what it is." But the fact is, that's not the way the world is supposed to be. The world is supposed to be where the people value life and they reveal life. And life is supposed to be the most precious thing, and even more meaningful life. And who makes this meaningful life? Is God does. God the creator of the universe. Who reveals God? That's the job of the Jews. But the Jews have to reveal it first. And in order to reveal this, you got to be crazy, because God is not anything normal in the world. God does not always work according to any natural processes or meanings or success stories, or God is the essence of all truth, the essence of all being, the essence of all existence. This is the thing which is not logical. And so this is what we learned last time. What is Chassidut? If you remember, there were four. If you go back to the beginning, let's just go back very briefly. Chassidut it has four basic things. You remember what it said? I won't go back with the cursor. Let's just go back, because if I remember, it only goes back to number 2. There are 4 things. First of all, the Baal Shem Tov said Chassidut comes and it wakes up the world. The Jewish people were like in a coma, and Chassidut woke them up. Number 2, Chassidut makes people do more than what they have to serve God. More than is necessary to serve God. self-sacrifice. Number 3, Chassidut causes not just that you change your nature, that you from bad to good, but you improve your good characters. As you change, not just you change your nature, but you change the natural traits, the good ones that you have, you improve them also, refine. You refine your nature. And number 4 is that each and every person, no matter how distant they are in Torah and the commandments, can't understand God. So those are the 4 basic, the 4 main ones. There's other ones also. But Chassidut accomplished, right? Those basic 4 things. Let's go in backwards order. That every single person, even the most simple, can have an understanding of God. Also that you can refine your nature, not just get rid of your bad natural characteristics, but also refine your good ones also. Do things for God, in other words. That you should self-sacrifice. You do more than what's necessary. And the first one was that woke everybody up. Khasirud woke everybody up. Okay. Those are the 4 things. Waking everybody up, doing more than you have to, refining your personality so it's godly, right? Refining your personality so it's godly, waking up all the Jews, doing more than what you have to, and that even the most simple person can understand godliness. Okay, let's go. This we did last time, and let's go over it. In summary, what do we say? What is Chassidut? Right? Everything that there is in the world, you can sort of sum it up in one couple words. Right? What is physics? Definition. Look at the dictionary. What does it say? The study of motion and energy or something. What is art? What is music? What is this? A couple words. What is Chassidut? So the main thing of Chassidut is Moshiach. And the main point of Moshiach is what's called level called Yechida. Remember we did this last time. So there are 5 aspects of the soul. 4 of them are levels, and the 5th one is not a level. The 5th one is essence. Like it's known that King David merited, he purified the level of nefesh. Elijah the prophet, he refined this level of ruach. Moshe was in the neshama. The first man, Adam Arishon, he refined this level of chaya. That's 4th level of the soul, if you're going from below to above. And the 5th and the highest level, that's Moshiach. He will refine and reveal this aspect of Yechida of the soul. Okay, explanation of what this is. Why is King David was nefesh? Because King David, he served God with total surrender, like a servant of God. Elijah the prophet, he was already spiritual. That's ruach. Moshe, that was intellect. He got the Torah. That's neshama. Adam Arishon, that's chaya. That was supposed to be, anyway, pure willpower, pure will to serve God. He was supposed to have used his willpower to defy the serpent, his wife, whatever, and not to eat from the tree. But Mashiach is going to be this level of Yechida. The quality of Yechida on the 4 lower levels, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama, and Chaya, these are the lower 4, that's levels of the soul. So to speak, the level of action of the soul, level of emotions, the level of intellect, the level of will. But Yechida is not a level. These 4 levels, they are different levels of the soul, different, you want to call it aspects of the soul. And Yechida, this is the soul itself. This is the essence of the soul. This is above any details. But on the other hand, it permeates all the details. It's not limited to being infinite. It's not limited to being above. Because if it's just above, then it's a level. Even though that this level of Yechida, what's called the essence of the soul, it is drawn into and it enlivens the lower four levels, but that's not that the level of Yechida somehow or other changes itself and comes down into these lower levels. Because the idea of Yechida, this hints at total unity, which is impossible to be divided into details. I mean, let's take a very gross, low example, right? Beauty. What is beauty? What is beauty? Beauty itself, you see a beautiful painting, a beautiful sunset, beautiful music, right? Beautiful. Some people say a motorcycle is beautiful. Some people say a car is beautiful, right? What does beauty mean? Beauty means, is there such a thing as beauty without any details? There must be. I mean, if there's such a thing, there's all these Greek philosophers talked about these things, right? So the essence of the thing is above all the details, but on the other hand, it's revealed in all the details. That's a very gross and a low example because beauty is just one aspect of life. Yechida is the essence of life itself. Yechida is the essence of all existence. It's pure existence. But on the other hand, all existence, all different levels, it comes from it. Anything that exists and all details that exist, beauty, power, well, of course, and if they partake of what's called Yechida. Also, this level of it's, but on the other hand, Yechida is not really any sort of existence that we can imagine. It's not even the source of all existence. It's the source of the source of the source, if you want to call it. Of this pure reality, pure truth. This level of Yechida, we cannot explain it, and it doesn't come into the category of any details. Even saying that it is the source of all details. Like that's the level of difference between Yechid and Echad. And Chassidut explains, Yechid means unique. We say God is unique and God is one. The motto of Judaism is that God is one. God is one means that he comes into all the details of the world. All the details of the world are unified. That God is, so to speak, the essence of God. This is one essential point of God and of the soul, that from it comes all the lower levels of the soul. Just like in every soul, this level of Yechid is the essence of that soul. So it is in the life of the soul and all the details of the soul. There's Yechida in all of the details of the soul as well. Let's see. Wrong direction. And that's the level of the Yechida, is the Moshiach of the soul. Did I skip something over? One second, let me see. No, yes, I did. Just like in every soul, there's this level of Yechida, which is the essential point of existence of the soul. So it is the general life of all the worlds. There's the level of Yechida of God. This is the level of Moshiach, which is in the world. This is the essential source of life of all of the worlds, which is above any form. But on the other hand, Mashiach is going to be a person, right? So how can the Mashiach be the essence point of life of all of the worlds? Says the Rebbe, because the whole idea of God's essence is not limited to being unlimited. And the whole point of creating the world was for man. It all revolves around man. And the ideal man that's going to reveal this man in every human being, Jews first, is the Mashiach. From this inner point comes out all of the other good qualities that are in the world, from nefesh, ruach, neshama, chaya, in general of the world. The world also has nefesh, ruach, neshama. So let's go back to the basics over here. The basics are that the world exists, and that the world exists for a purpose, and that the world is a creation. and that the world is being created by a person. This is all Jewish faith. This is faith. You haven't got any instruments that can prove this. This is Jewish faith. This is what Abraham realized. Or if you don't believe in Judaism, this is what Abraham imagined. Right? Imagine that the world exists and the world is being created for a purpose, and God is creating it for a purpose. And God's essence is connected to this purpose and is connected to the details of this purpose. But don't think that somehow or other these details, they reflect God's essence. They don't. But on the other hand, they do. God is creating them, and He's creating everything for a purpose. So on one hand, God is infinitely higher than any possibility of understanding even spiritual worlds God is creating. But on the other hand, God is involved in every single detail, the most seemingly insignificant atoms or quarks, or whatever it is, that are in the world. God is intimately involved in creating. Because the essence of life is unlimited, incomprehensible. The whole idea of comprehension, that's just an aspect of creation. God is infinitely more real than anything we can comprehend. What's the proof? The proof is that we can be fooled. A person can be fooled, right, by comprehension. Here, look at, there's billions and billions of people that believe in all these false religions because they understand. They understand, oh, this guy's going to save me. This is going to, and they believe, and they have their priests and they have their high spirits or whatever it is. And they think they understand. They wrote books about it and they understand, right? And then there's the opposite of religion. There's all these atheists, there's Marxism and Zionism and all these things. And they have books, thousands of books written explaining the truth of it and the fact of it and the way of it and the aspects of it and the things. But the fact of the matter is that all these books and the understandings, whatever, it's just, playing in the dark. It's just playing around in the dark. Castles in the sand. The real, true reality is so infinitely more above that, but on the other hand, it's so infinitely more involved in the details and creating the details that we have no comprehension of it. On the other hand, we're the center of the whole business. Which one are we going to choose? So that's going to be the essence of Chassidut, to give us a certain impetus and awareness of what true reality is, so that we'll make the proper choice to serve the Creator. Why do we serve the Creator? Because He's totally incomprehensibly true and good. That's what Abraham revealed. The infiniteness of God is not just the fact that He's infinite, that He's eternal, and that He can't be changed. He's unchangeable, immutable. Because every essence is immutable. Like we talked about before, beauty. Beauty is a thing it's unchangeable. Maybe the aspects of beauty are, but the fact that there is a possibility of beauty in the world, right? This is unchangeable. This is unchangeable no matter what you do. Some people say it's a gun. Oh, it's a beautiful gun. This is a beautiful tank, a beautiful whatever it is, bomb. So, but nevertheless, there's such a thing as beauty. Every essence is unchangeable, but that's not the type of essence. That's not saying that God is unchanging. Does not reflect on His essence. God's essence is much, much more real than to say that He's unchanging. Unchanging is a description of something, some idea. Shegam zeh mi'atamim, that in the future will be infinite life. And now, because there's no infinite life, there's only what we call levels of life. And therefore, there's death. But that's not the essence of God. The fact that there's going to be eternal life, that's not describing what it means to God. That's just a result of the God's essence being revealed. Because when we have a branch of something, so it can change. And there can be even stopping, which is not the case in the future. It says there's going to be what's called infinite life. But nevertheless, that is not an expression of the essence of God. That's just an aspect. When the essence is revealed, one of the results is that there's infinite life. But really, any sort of quality and any sort of excellence that can express the highest level of excellence, that's what we're talking about. That's what God's essence is. Therefore, when it's drawn down into the world, this level of Yechida, so people will live forever. So therefore, there'll be, but the revelation of God's essence in the world is much, much, much more than that. It's much more real than that. Okay, Vav, this is where we got up to last time. And this is what's in the Chassidut. This is what Chassidut talks about. Because on the one hand, we're talking about this tremendously, right, difficult ideas to understand, but on the other hand, that's simple reality. Simple reality is that God is creating everything. He's creating everything for a purpose, and he's creating everything from absolute nothingness. This ability of God to create something, that is just an aspect of God. The reason God is creating everything, the essence of God that's creating, so to speak, of everything, that's giving a reason for everything to be created, the source of this reason, that's already coming from God's essence. And that's expressed in every single detail. Like we said before, that from the reward of spreading out Chassidut, which is the coming of the Moshiach, so we can know a little bit about what exactly is Chassidut. So let's understand what exactly is going to happen when Moshiach comes. All of the new things that Khasirud brought about, like we learned about these 4 things before. Remember these 4 things in the beginning, that it woke up the Jews, and that you want to do more than is necessary, self-sacrificing, and that it improves your good character traits, makes them godly, and that even the most simple person can understand God. Those 4 things we talked about. And this reflects itself even in the mysteries, the Kabbalah of the Torah, and it becomes revealed in the service of man, like we said, that a person does more than what he has to, and that the people will change their natures to be godly, and in the whole world that everyone's going to wake up from their sleep. These are not novelty. These are not the real true novelties of Chassidut that each person can do on its own. It's not an individual sort of a thing, but rather that Chassidut is a new type of general life in the world. It's an essential life that comes from this level of Yechida. I mean, just imagine what it means. People will live forever. What does that mean, live forever? What are you going to do, live forever? You're going to have the same life? No, it's going to be a new type of life in the world. We won't be interested in the same things in the world. We'll be aware of the true infiniteness of the world. So the things that we do in the world, our family, our job, our work, whatever, we'll still do them. But that won't be the whole thing. People won't get angry about them or nervous about them or have lust or what. But you'll do things because you'll realize that I'm miraculously being created every instant by God. God is infinitely, infinitely, infinitely more real than any of his creations. But on the other hand, he's creating everything. It'll be a whole new awareness of what reality is. That's called the level of Yechida. Kasher Chayos Chad is when this new type of life is revealed, this what that Chassidut is talking about, is drawn into the world. And this is godliness, which is above nature, then will be revealed. Therefore, we'll be reading God's name as it is written. Some people say it's the 42-letter name of God, because in the whole world, there'll be a revelation of the name of God. And what is the name of God? Past, present, and future will be all one. Essentially, all there's going to be is just present, but the present is going to encompass all the past and all the future as well. How is this going to be? We have no way of understanding this. But reality is going to be so real. We'll feel so lucky that we're being created, and we'll feel our Creator. This is going to be a revelation in the world. It'll be an obvious thing that the Creator is above time, within time. He's creating. I am being created from the essence of God. And so it ends up that there's nothing else except for God. That's all there is. If so, it comes out that everything is above time. It's a whole different type of world. It says a new heavens and a new earth. Something like Hagila, the revelation that was in the Holy Temple. In the Holy Temple, it says there was the Holy of Holies. And in the Holy of Holies, it says it was above time, above space. That's why people were so happy, because they just felt now. They felt the essence of life is being revealed now, and that brought to life all the past and all the future as well. How this is, we have no idea. The main thing is this will be revealed not just in this physical world, but in all of the worlds, even in the highest spiritual worlds, because the conduct of all the upper worlds that we talk about in Kabbalah and things like this is according to what people do here in this world. You have to understand this idea of Khasirud. This is what me and you should be learning, because the whole world and all these revelations depends on me and you. That's how God set it up. That's how he made the world. We are very, 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 very important to God. We're the center of this whole entire business. God is very, very, how do you say, impatiently waiting for us to make the right choices. This is the essence. So to speak, before the world was created, God was not happy. So to speak. I mean, this makes no sense. When we do a good deed, that's what makes reality. Then things really become real. Before the world was created, there was no men to make the right choices. There was no Jews to make the right, so to speak, there was no existence. There was no, when in the world, when we started making the right choices in the world, that's when infinity began. Al derech something like, it says, when we decide when is Rosh Chodesh, when we decide what the holidays are, they used to be that way. And that when we decide what the holidays are, then there's drawn down an extra blessing in these levels from above. This is the way it is below. Even since in the coming of the Moshiach, there will be Yishtaneh, will be changed. The whole entire revelation, awareness of this world and all the details of this world, namely the world will be the same. But we'll see how infinitely meaningful and miraculous every detail is. Because everything depends on our world. So when there's changes here, it'll change also the upper worlds. But after all, we just finished talking about all these things. Even though that it's amazing, we've talked about, and all these essential, amazing miracles that are going to be, the dead are going to raise, there's going to be eternal life. But nevertheless, all of these details that there's going to be is only just branching off from the main point of what Mashiach is. In other words, all these things that people are going to live forever, they'll be revealed of godliness in the world. We'll see that every detail is godly and everything. That is only a result of Mashiach. Man is so tremendously important to God that man contains, so to speak, the key to God's pleasure. God gets pleasure, nachat ruach. So Mashiach, bringing man to make the right choices, will bring all these revelations, but these revelations are just an outcome from the revelation, the essence, awareness of the essence of God that there will be. That's Mashiach. The main thing of Mashiach is this level of Yechida. Can you do it like it's known? And that King David merited to the level of Nefesh, Elijah the prophet to the level of Ruach, Moses to the level of Neshama. First man, 1 second, what happened? We went backwards. I went back. Oh, this is never going to end. If I keep doing like this, we're going to be, here we go. What happened? Why did I do this? Excuse me. I went back. I thought that we learned the same thing. We're repeating. Okay. What? Oh, wow. Did I go? So this we said, the kasher, when there's this new life is drawn into the world, the Torah, that's Torah's Chassidus Kololis. Wow, how did I do a thing like that? I have to know which button to press over. 1 second. There it is. That's what we call Chassidut Klolit. general Chassidut. That was the way of the Baal Shem Tov and the Rav Amagi. I did pretty good. I linked 2 pages that are not linked together at all. How I did that, I don't know, but I did it. Well, I went backwards. Okay. In any case, there's what we call general Chassidut that was revealed by the Baal Shem Tov and his pupil Magid Mezrich. And then we have Chabad Chassidut. And that was revealed by a new soul called the first Rebbe of Chabad. He's the one that we're celebrating his freedom. This sikh was said on Yutet Kislev, right, in 1926 or 1966, or I guess maybe then it was 1965, because it Chassidut Chabad, that's what really began the things of the world to have a brand new life, an essential life. And so therefore there was made many, many new things in the world. For this reason, the Torah Chassidut is called like oil. Oil is what's called the secrets of the secrets. Oil is the inner point of everything. From this, everything that is in the world has to have some sort of oil that keeps it alive, lubricated. So therefore, it has to be that everything, oil itself, is separated from everything in the world. It floats above, even though that oil is found in everything, but nevertheless, it itself cannot be the essential point of everything, because oil itself is an essence. Because it's an essence and it floats above everything, so therefore it's found inside of everything. That's just like this level of Yechida. Because an essential thing is found in everything. So like we said before, existence, right? Everything that we say exists. This pen exists, I exist, you exist, ideas exist, lies exist. They all exist, right? So therefore, they're all partaking somehow or other of exist. Well, the same thing, but we don't know why they exist. Yechida is explaining the godliness in everything. Is explaining that God has a reason, his own infinite reason for everything existing. That's Yechida, and that is found in every single detail that is in the world. That's something like oil. On one hand, oil is above everything, but on the other hand, oil permeates in everything. And that's the idea of the inside of the Torah. And that oil, it says, does not really mix it with any other liquid. But on the other hand, it permeates every solid. Therefore, Torah Chassidut is compared to oil. This is especially the holiday of Hanukkah we just had. Because in Hanukkah, oil has these two opposites, just like God has these two opposites. What are they? On one hand, oil is an essence, and it's not mixed with anything else, like God is an essence, is not mixed with anything else. That's like this level of yechida, of godliness. That's the essence point of life, which is above any sort of spreading out. But on the other hand, this essential point of life is inside of everything. Everything in the world is permeated with life, with existence, with the reason for existence. That's like oil. Oil, everything you put it on, if you leave it there, it seeps into everything there is. Everything there is, except for liquids. Liquids, it always is above. The same thing with this essential godliness, this level of yechida. On one hand, God is incomprehensible. God creates all the spiritual. He creates all the gods in the world. He creates all the spiritual levels in the world. He creates all these levels that all the other religions believe in. That's what God is. But on the other hand, God is not limited to being outside of the world. Every single detail of the world God creates, and the world is, so to speak, permeated with the essence of God. That's this level of yechida. If so, to that level, then we're saying that the essence of God is not a level. It's not just above everything, and it's not just within everything. It's an encompassing level which encompasses all reality and all truth. But on the other hand, it's found in every detail. And that's the essence of every detail. And that's what the teaching is of Chassidut. Now, a person could say to himself, one second, come on. I mean, there's just how many Jews actually learn Chassidut? You're saying the whole world is changed by this handful of Jews? So we can see, we just had the holiday of Hanukkah, right? There was just a handful of Jews, and they lit the candles in the Holy Temple. Where were these candles lit? They were lit in a place where nobody saw them. It was written in a place called the Holy. Who could see them? Only the Kohanim could go into that place. So basically, nobody even saw this miracle that happened of the lights of Hanukkah. But nevertheless, it illuminated the whole world and it changed the whole world. And we see nowadays that even the most non-religious Jews, I just spoke to some people that I know, and people that don't do any of the commandments. I said, did you light the lights of Hanukkah? Of course. Lights of Hanukkah, of course. What do you think? I am a horse or a mule or something? Of course I lit. It's an obvious thing. Jews light the lights of Hanukkah. Why did the lights of Hanukkah? A few crazy Kohanim fought against the whole group, Greeks, made a tremendous, amazing victory, and we don't really make such mention of the victory. The people who light the candles, these non-religious people, they don't even know about the victory. They don't even care about it, right? They would be one of the people that would join in with the Greeks. But when it comes to lighting the lights, a couple of the 13, whatever it is, the Maccabees lit this light inside of the holy, a place where nobody even saw it. This changed all nature forever. It's the same thing. When even a few Jews learn Chassidut, a little bit of light pushes away the darkness. And the Rebbe is saying this is such an unusual type of light that it pushes away the darkness of the whole world. You don't see it. Says the Rebbe, number one, the world would be in much worse state if we didn't read it, if we didn't learn Chassidut. And eventually, the purpose of Chassidut is going to be that the whole world will realize what Chassidut is talking about. This level of Yechida is really the essence, reality, and truth of every single detail of creation. The godliness which is in creation, the Jewishness which is in creation, the Moshiach which is in the essence of every single detail of creation. Jews first. That's what Chassidut, Torah Chassidut, reveals. That's why it's so important to learn the teachings of the Chabad Rebbes. As we'll talk about, God willing, next week. Have a good week with Mashiach now. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much.
Shalom Uvracha.
All the best. Shavua Tov.
You too. Shavua Tov. You should have a bright, happy Hanukkah the whole year.
Amen.
Shalom. You should know that there's a good number of people that watch this class, right? There's like 50 people or something that tune into the class. So that's wonderful. Okay, Shalom, Shavua Tov, Chodesh Tov.